Today, we're interviewing the founders of Ghost Sando. How much money did it take to start this business?
We had no money.
This husband and wife team are building a sandwich empire. They've gone from 1 to 6 locations in just 3 years.
You don't realize how expensive, stupid things are. Like trash cans for a restaurant are like $3,000.
We asked them about the lessons they learned along the way, the secrets to scaling quickly, and where they plan to go on this explosive journey. This is Ghost Sando. Who are you?
My name is Goga.
That was a bold straight up, who are you? Ben.
What is your business?
It's called Ghost Sando Shop.
We specialize on one bread only. That's gonna be the Dutch Crunch bread you see behind us. A lot of bread you're gonna get doesn't have structural integrity, so sandwiches tend to get soggy quick. So this bread gives you a chance to get that sweetness of like a sweet white bread, the softness of it, but then you get a crunch in it as well.
What did you do before this?
Going back a little further, I was military. I did aviation on helicopters, and then I owned some dispensaries for a while.
I used to work in insurance.
What inspired you to get into the food industry?
Something new every day. It's not an office job where it's the same cubicle, same people, same email chains. I kind of like the freedom of being able to maneuver from store to store and meet new people.
Was Ghost Sando your first attempt in the food industry?
No, I had Ghost Pizza Kitchen. I got to 3 locations with that as a New York style pizzeria. And then sandwiches we opened on a fluke, and it just took off. And then we were like, well, why hold on to the pizzerias? They weren't doing nearly as well as sandwiches do. So I sold all the pizzerias.
What did the pizzerias teach you to make Ghost Sando successful?
Simplicity, hands down. We had vegan, gluten-free, and then 10 different kinds of appetizers. And every time we would think someone would like something or we hear a suggestion, we'd make that suggestion. We kind of just went down a rabbit hole where we wanted to be really good at one thing instead of mediocre at a bunch of things. It really taught us to just narrow our menu down and focus on being really, really great at one thing.
How much money did it take to start this business?
We had no money. We had nothing. So we started it literally with nothing.
It was a lot of elbow grease to get it started, and about $38,000 is where we started at. We did it all ourselves. Grinded the whole floor down, the walls, the paint, the countertops, the whole nine.
Yeah.
The bathrooms were disgusting.
Was that $38,000 your personal savings?
It just came from a little bit of cushions we had, and it was kind of a Hail Mary. We were doing well, we had a good life, but it wasn't making us money where we could grow and expand location after location after location and reinvest into the company. So kind of where we could have put money into potentially towards a new pizzeria, we decided to shift it into a sandwich shop. And yeah, glad we did.
We still had other jobs.
How did you go about balancing both?
You'd work like half of it half day and then the rest half day. And then like during constructions, then we would do construction for the rest of the day. It was just tough. But I think when you're starting out your own and you have no investors or no backings, you make it work, It's you do what you have to do.
How many locations do you have?
We have 6 operating locations here in California and currently just signed a lease for our first out-of-state location in Boise, Eagle, Idaho.
How did you choose Boise as a second place to open business?
You have markets that are A, B, and C markets. Obviously, LA is an A market. I would say Boise is probably closer to a C market. It becomes difficult, and I think any small business owner watching this is going to know California is not business friendly. So it makes things really, really difficult. At times, you're kind of just getting hit left and right from quarter to quarter on what changes are. And all the changes they make tend to negatively affect the business rather than positively affect it.
When you went from one location to location number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how did you go about raising the money to open up secondary locations? Was that just profit from location
yeah.
1?
I mean, we didn't really have a crazy lifestyle, I would say. It was just reinvesting back into our company. So we did really well, and we'd save about $100,000, and then, okay, let's open another one. And then obviously the cost starts to go up. The first store we opened was, a 600-700 square foot shop. We did everything ourselves. When you start to get into builds like this, like El Segundo, our new one, things start to increase as far as the costs associated with it. New iterations of signage get more expensive. So ultimately we just buckled down, and every time we made profit, instead of pouring it into our personal life and kind of just siphoning the money out of a company, which I've seen a lot of people do, it was the goal we made to ourselves was to keep reinvesting into it. And that's what we did, yeah. So we ended up with 6, now 7 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Just over 3 years.
What was the cost that surprised you the most?
You don't realize how expensive, stupid things are. Like trash cans
Yeah.
for a restaurant are like $3,000. Wow. This is not even a joke. Like, I don't know why trash cans are so expensive.
The stainless steel, like indoor, like dining room,
Yeah.
they get really
It's-
expensive.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it's just, I mean, I believe it now. But like after doing the first one, I was like, what?
Yeah, like a prep table, a normal like stainless steel prep table will be a couple $100. And you can get one 6 feet long, but then you get a cabinet that has doors on it, which is a prep table, essentially with walls and doors. All of a sudden becomes like $4,800.
Where do you go about sourcing the restaurant equipment?
You just kind of learn. Like some things are just made better and they last longer, and it's really trial and error.
Originally, we did it all based on our own biased opinion. We're like, we're working in the store. What do we like? Ultimately, it came down to now getting feedback from our crew members and our team members in different locations, because some things in some stores don't work in other stores. So although there's a baseline of how we operate and what we initially purchased opening the store, there are some things where we'll get with our director of ops and our field leader and be like, okay, how do you see us maneuvering this layout? How do you think it's most beneficial? Because she's boots on the ground operationally now with her team the most. They're able to give us feedback. So there's iterations that have been made, but I would say they're big feedback too. Always listen to your team, because they'll tell you what they need, what they don't need. And if you don't give them that opportunity, they'll just keep their mouth shut. They won't say anything. And then they'll start to resent you because you're not doing things that can make or buying things or giving them tools that can make their life or job easier. Where I feel a lot of small businesses fail is they don't trust their employees. They don't build a relationship. So it's like, I don't trust you to do cash deposits at the end of the night, so I'm going to stay as an owner and I'm going to work 7 days a week and do cash deposits, and then the employee doesn't feel trusted. So a lot of owners of small businesses burn themselves out because they're not able to relinquish power. For us, there's a very proactive approach to leadership, and there's understanding there has to be empowerment. You got to understand, you got to take and understand what their vision is and purpose. So if I have an employee and they're like, hey, I want to get married one day, but I don't have the money. Well, my vision is to build one of the best sandwich shops nationwide with the most amazing guest experience. If you can help attach yourself to my vision and create that, I can develop you to be a leader, which means ultimately you're going to go from crew member to shift lead to AGM to GM to hopefully one day multi-unit leader, which means ultimately your pay is going to increase with it. We'll put you in this position financially where you can't afford that wedding to marry the love of your life. So that's just one situation I've been in, but there's plenty of them like that. You have to know what is the vision of each one of your team members and how you can attach their vision to your vision. You make that connection and you're both working to help each other achieve their vision.
What % of your business is delivery?
I don't know, you're probably in a 50-50 market in some sorts like downtown LA, Grand Central Market, you're going to be more dine-in just because of foot traffic. Melrose, you're going to be more delivery because no one wants to drive and it's hard to park out there. Burbank will be probably 40 deliveries, 60 dining, so you have all the businesses here.
Okay.
So ultimately, that's why we try to position ourselves in CBDs, like central business districts. It brings us a good lunch rush throughout the week, where we can kind of capitalize on not paying any sort of partnership fee, if you will, with third-party vendors.
I saw you have your own app. How did you go about creating that?
Yeah, the app was actually something with the POS system that the company we went with. They ended up coming up with an app that has the presentation that we desired and puts our company in a light that we appreciate. And so we ended up using their development to build our app, which is essentially a mirrored version of our website.
What POS system do you use?
Toast.
How do you go about hiring all your employees?
Our VP that we just brought on recently has done a good job of kind of curating a list of what we look for. Ultimately, there's characteristics. I think it's outside of just the questions we ask and how they answer them. It's reading body language, I think, and it's also to what questions they ask. I mean, curiosity to me is the number one trigger that someone's got intellect. Like, smart people are always curious. If someone just kind of sits back and, okay, and appeases you, it tends to kind of raise the red flag a little bit. We look for presentability, someone who understands that they are coming to a job interview. And I think in today's world, that's kind of hard to find. I mean, I've had people come into interviews that have had headphones in, but they're like, nah, dude, it's cool, it's not on, and then pull out a vape pen inside my restaurant and start hitting a vape pen. So it's a different age that we're dealing with. Like, when I was a kid, I don't know, I was 14 years old, I'd show up to a job interview in an oversized shirt and tie that didn't fit me, but just trying to be presentable. I think right now we've kind of lost that a little bit.
How many customers do you guys serve a day?
the most we saw in a day was like, I think it was like 800 or something. It was a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot. That was like one of our, when we were
Yeah.
at the peak, it was like 800, 900. So it was crazy. I mean, we think we were making a sandwich like we did the math. It was like every
Yeah, it was like
13
every like couple
seconds.
seconds.
Wow.
13 or 16 seconds we had a sandwich going out. Per day, we probably do about 300
Okay.
per location,
Yeah.
approximately.